Overwhelmed at this hour with shock and horror, a 9-year-old girl found dead in the woods. Little Elizabeth Olten's body was just a stone's throw from her house that's outside of St. Martin's, Missouri. And the accused, a 15-year-old playmate, her best friend's older sister. Right now, the teen is charged with first-degree murder, but a judge will soon decide if she'll be charged as an adult or a juvenile. And for now, we're learning about some disturbing online postings. One of them is a profile and a YouTube video. This is the 15-year-old. Her hobby she lists as killing and cutting. Red flags all over the place. You wonder, why didn't somebody notice? We'll get to the bottom of it. Joining us to talk about it, welcome back one more time, Steve Rogers, Detective Lieutenant, Nutley, New Jersey Police Department. Also with us, Rupa Mikulaneni, producer from the Nancy Grace Show, has been covering this. First off, Rupa, do we know what happened to little Elizabeth?
Well, Mike, we know that she disappeared Wednesday, October 21st. She went to a playmate's house. Her body was found 2 days later in the woods, buried. The sheriff has said that she was killed, but he will not identify the manner. The manner was identified as a homicide, but not the way that she was murdered.
How'd they connect the dots back to this 15-year-old?
Right. They had been searching in the woods for quite some time with dogs, volunteer searchers, and they'd gotten a tip from, we think it was a letter. It was some type of a communication. They won't say whether it's a letter, an email, maybe even a Twitter posting, but it was from somebody that knew what had happened or she may have corresponded with. This led them back to the 15-year-old suspect. When they questioned and interviewed her, she led them to the body.
Okay, so that's the written evidence that we've heard about, we believe, right, Rupa?
That's right.
Okay. Steve, as we'd mentioned, the suspect claiming her hobby's killing and cutting. There's a YouTube video of her electrocuting herself and her little brother. How will that play into a trial as we look back at this and see all the earmarks or something like this, that she had these tendencies? Well,
again, that's not true. The YouTube video did not show her electrocuting her brother. The YouTube video showed them all playing outside, and each one on their own went to and touched an electric wired fence.
Oh, sure, that'll clearly be evidence that the prosecutor could use. But, Mike, you said something very significant. When these YouTube and Twitter postings were up for everyone to see, why didn't someone make a phone call? I mean, when you see what we are reading about on the YouTube, it's horrific. So now I'm asking myself a question as a law enforcement officer. Do we in law enforcement now have to think about cyber policing, being proactive? We all have names of individuals in our communities who have the potential of committing such acts. Mind-boggling.
Yeah,
absolutely
it is.
mind-boggling.
You know, it changes the game so much. Let's get a call in. Carl is with us in Massachusetts. Hi, Carl. Your thoughts here?
Yeah, Mike, I think there's a lot of reasons why kids are getting so violent nowadays. I think the first reason is that there's very little parental guidance because both parents have to work. It's not like the 50s and the 60s when Dad would work, Mom would raise the kids, but she was always there to give them parental guidance when they came home. Don't have that anymore. Now, second thing is video games, cartoons, movies, you know, from when they're 4 years old. All they see is violence, violence, violence. Robots blowing, violence, superheroes blowing up, you know.
Yeah.
If something's bad, you kill it. Boom, get rid of it. I think the third reason is people have to start going back and attend their houses of worship, you know, whether that's Jewish or Christian or whatever. That, you know, got to go back to the Ten Commandments. The only, you know, that's the moral.
A moral base. Yeah, you
Right.
make a good point, Carl. Thanks for the phone call. And, Steve, we are seeing some of that. I mean, the video games and the movies, they leave a mark. I mean, we can't solely blame them, but they are somewhat desensitizing our kids. But number one point was what Carl's talking about as parents. Don't you think? Being there to help monitor and just be a part of their kids' lives.
Absolutely. Many of the investigations that I'm involved with, Mike, parents are in denial. They absolutely refuse to believe that their children could commit certain acts of violence against others. So we have to do a lot better in our society regarding parenting. And again, accountability, responsibility. These are two words missing in the vocabulary. And we have to get back to those words.
Okay, when we come back, we'll ask Rupa if the parents of the accused are making any statements now, what we know about the family life of the accused 15-year-old. And we'll take more of your calls. 1-877-TEL-HLM.
Well, back in the 50s, my father worked and so did my mother. So I'm not sure what this guy's talking about. A lot of parents worked back then.